Is it ever okay to lie, even if it feels like the right thing to do? This is one of the most challenging moral questions people have grappled with for centuries, and the German philosopher Immanuel Kant had a firm and radical answer. It is never okay to lie. Kant's philosophy is rooted in the idea of moral absolutism, which means that certain actions are always right or wrong, no matter the situation or consequences. To Kant, lying is always morally wrong because it violates a universal principle of honesty, a value he believed all people should uphold. Kant's reasoning is based on a concept he called the categorical imperative. This principle asks us to act only according to rules that we would want everyone to follow universally. Imagine, for example, if everyone lied whenever it suited them. Trust would vanish, and human relationships would collapse. Lying, then, is a behavior that cannot be universalized. It destroys the very foundation of trust and cooperation upon which society depends. But what about situations where lying seems not only excusable but necessary? Imagine you are hiding a friend in your house, and someone dangerous comes to the door asking if they are there. Lying could save your friend's life. Surely, many would argue, lying in such a case is the morally right thing to do. Kant, however, would still insist that lying is wrong, even in such dire circumstances. He believed that morality should never depend on specific situations or predicted outcomes. One of Kant's key arguments is that we can never fully predict the consequences of our actions. Perhaps the dangerous person wouldn't harm your friend even if you told the truth, or maybe lying would lead to an unforeseen chain of events with even worse consequences. For Kant, morality isn't about guessing outcomes. It's about acting in a way that preserves moral principles. He also believed that lying compromises a person's integrity. Even if you think you are doing it for a good reason, lying makes you part of a world where dishonesty is acceptable, and that, for Kant, is a slippery slope. Critics of Kant's strict position argue that his philosophy is too rigid and doesn't account for the complexity of real life. In the example of saving a friend, some say that compassion and care for others should outweigh strict adherence to rules. They argue that morality isn't just about abstract principles, but about making decisions that minimize harm and prioritize human well-being. Others suggest that in situations where there are no perfect choices, it might be necessary to choose the lesser evil. Telling a lie to save a life, they claim, is a moral act because it prevents a far greater wrong. Kant, however, stuck to his belief that morality must be clear and consistent. He worried that allowing exceptions, even in extreme cases, would erode the foundation of ethics. If lying is acceptable sometimes, where do we draw the line? Kant believed that once we allow emotions or personal interests to guide moral decisions, we risk losing the ability to make objective, rational judgments about right and wrong. So is it ever okay to lie? For Kant, the answer remains an unwavering no. He believed that moral principles like honesty should never be compromised, no matter the circumstances. Yet this view sparks endless debate. It forces us to wrestle with the tension between universal principles and the practical demands of human relationships. Perhaps the most important lesson is to approach such questions thoughtfully, weighing both the values we want to uphold and the realities of the situations we face. Morality, as Kant reminds us, is rarely simple, but the effort to act with integrity and compassion is what defines us as human beings.